connected to the fastest growing brands for detailing products, chemicals, and coatings in the world. And he is a two-time bestseller writer, New York writer, and your books were?
In Demand. It's a business book that kind of tells my story as I came up.
Now, can you download that on Audible?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so guys, check out at Amazon.
In Demand by Ryan Jayton.
So In Demand, so we have a lot of mutual friends in the coaching world, right? He's also a public speaker. He gets up on stages. I'm the car guy and the story guy, as you guys know, on Van Wiki. We have our own YouTube channel, Glossit.tv. And we're excited to do this because, Ryan and I were discussing before Christmas, what can we do for this community, whether you're a wrap guy, you're a PPF guy, you're a ceramic coating guy, you're a paint correction guy, you're just a paint protection guy. And what could we offer you guys for free advice for this call? Now, this call today is going to be about an hour, so we're going to try to keep it a little bit short and sweet. The last 15 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes, we're going to do a Q&A, and we've got a couple surprises. So guys, if you don't have a notebook, I highly recommend you pull out a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down some of the key takeaways today, right, to help you grow your business. Now guys, there's some people on this call that are maybe new and have a job, and they're looking for a new opportunity, and Ryan's going to break that down today, correct, Ryan?
Absolutely, man.
And I'm also going to share my story with some of you that don't know me, that see me on social media, but don't know why I'm an expert and what makes me different of doing this for 30 years. Well, you guys can see that we're inside the Glossit World headquarters, and there's a bunch of cars around me. We'll get into that a little bit today. That's not the main focus of this webinar, but we're going to talk about what does a multi-million-dollar operation look like working on these cars. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of flex out there on social media. And there's a lot of people bragging about the results, but they're not showing you the results. There's no clarity, there's no transparency. And Ryan, you've been inside this facility since last year. What did you see when you walked into this facility?
Man, I've been excited for this webinar for a long time. In fact, I've been begging Rich to interview him like this. When I first walked in here, I just knew I was in a place that was different, okay? I wasn't in a regular shop. I was in a shop where somebody knew what they were doing, and they were executing on a totally different level than I had ever seen before. Rich, I've had cars worked on. Mm-hmm. I've had wraps done, I've had other things done, and I've never seen it done the way you do it, hands down. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I'm looking forward to chatting with Rich. I got a lot of good questions. In fact, this conversation's gonna be pretty natural, it's not scripted, but I do have some notes here because I was thinking to myself, if I had a chance to ask Rich how he did it, what would I ask him? So I went and wrote a bunch of notes down. I'm kind of sitting in your seat, okay? If you had a chance to see it with Rich, what would you ask him? And I think that's the angle that I'm going to take tonight. So you mind if I just jump in and kind of set this up for you? I'm going to use the notepad here just so you guys can get a visual of what we're doing here. But here's the way I think about this conversation. You're in one of three places. Number one, you're brand new. Like Rich said, you got a job, you're thinking to yourself, I want to start my own business, I really like cars, I want to be around that industry, I want to set my own hours, I want to control my own destiny. You're brand new and you want to learn how to break into this industry, okay? So some of you are brand new, don't even have a shop yet. That's totally fine, we're glad you're here, you're in the right place. Number two is you already have a shop and you're probably offering a limited number of services like details, okay? Right. You're a detailer, maybe you're a mobile detailer. Maybe you're doing some in a shop, maybe you've rented a little place or you're doing mobile. But you're in a shop, you're doing details, and you want to learn to add services to your already existing business. That may be you, okay? Third one is that you're a shop owner and you are already offering services, but you want to grow. You want to expand and scale your business. We call that scaling. You're in for a treat. Because I got a list of things here that I'm going to go through with Rich, and we want to speak specifically to each one of these groups so you can get a really good idea, just like the ad said. We want to give you a clear picture on what it would take to build a multi-million-dollar paint protection business the way it was done, the way Rich did it. So Rich, can I just jump in and start going through my notes and ask you a bunch of questions?
Go for it.
Okay. If we look around the room here, I don't know if you guys can see it all, but we've got Rolls Royces here, we've got Corvettes here, we've got BMWs that you've never seen before. That's what we see today. Sometimes it's hard for somebody to picture themselves being in your chair. So I have to imagine at some point You sat in those chairs.
100%.
What was that like? Like, where did this thing start in the very beginning? What was that like?
Well, I mean, if you guys ever go to my YouTube channel, they're more than welcome to check it out. It says $9 car washes.
$9, I've seen that one.
Right, and basically it's a journey and a story about where I started. And I started in 1990 in Boston, Massachusetts, doing work for a bunch of car dealerships because I didn't have any retail clients. So the best way to get started was just go out and hustle. And I quickly realized that a lot of these car enthusiasts and car collectors were looking for this type of work. But I was doing hustle back then. I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have Instagram. Yeah. I didn't have any social media. I had business cards on windows. You guys are probably familiar with this, or flyers on people's cars. It was straight hustle. And today we have a computer in our hands that gives us the ability to get attention with just putting out cars on social media.
You did it old school.
I did it old school. And I built $1 million business in my 20s. I was a one-man band.
Yeah.
I was the only guy doing the cars.
Did you have a shop?
Yeah, I mean, I was inside a car dealership renting space from a guy that owned the car dealership. His name was Frank. And I was going out to all the car dealerships in the south of Boston trying to get accounts.
Okay.
And I was also running, putting business cards, like they have a ferry that goes from the South Shore to Boston, so I'm putting flyers on people's cars so when they get off the ferry at night to drive home. I'm leaving business cards at all the car dealerships and body shops.
This sounds like the ultimate grind, am I right?
Yeah, this was a lot of work. And today we have technology that I didn't have back then. So if I had started from scratch today and I was in my 20s, it would took me 10 or 15 years, I could do in a couple of years today.
That's awesome. Was the original goal, like when you sat down, like I say, when you were at the very beginning, when you were putting business cards, did you have the aspiration, did you have this vision that one day it would turn into doing over $100 million in business?
I think I was more focused on the passion of doing the cars and the gratification of the result than what I could do. And I was just focused on helping people make their cars look the best they could and protect it. And I think at that time, it wasn't a big motivator for me to see how much money I could make. It was more about perfecting the art of being the best at what I did, which was a different reason, which should be the main reason you should do this.
I love that. What do you think was the hardest part about that first year?
I think the hardest part was getting my mindset around that this wasn't going to happen overnight, that this was going to be a process, and I was going to have to learn as I went. I knew that if I didn't take consistent action every day doing this, that I wasn't going to get to where I wanted. And there was a lot of times for people out there watching this that I got frustrated and I wanted to quit.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, give us an idea, maybe year one or year two, where were you at revenue-wise?
I mean, we're talking, oh my gosh, 30 plus years ago? I think
money was a little bit different back then.
It was different then. We had a different economy, but I mean, we were probably, when I was in my 20s, in the early 20s, $400 to $500 a year, which was still, $30,000 to $40,000 a month.
Okay, so $400,000 to $500,000 a year.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
So, I mean, that just shows even back then you could build a pretty significant business if you put your mind to it.
Correct.
So at some point, you realize this could turn into a business. They could turn into a pretty big business. Like, what changed? Like, what did you start doing to scale your business originally back then?
Well, I'll go back to, I knew that if I could go to the car dealerships, because the car dealerships, as you guys know, are terrible at cleaning and prepping the cars when you buy them, right?
Okay.
And so I knew that I had to offer a niche service and go in and say, hey, I know you have these cars, the customers are happy with the black cars or dark color vehicles. If I'm willing to help you out and make those customers happy, are you willing to refer me other customers?
Okay.
And that was just a straight grind, right? So I had to prove myself to these dealers or body shops that I could solve problems that they couldn't.
Okay.
And I was getting paid for not what I did, but what I knew. And there's a big difference between those two.
I like that.
Right?
So you got paid to do something you enjoyed and something you knew. You got to work on cars.
But I also didn't ask a lot up front. What I said was, hey, let me help you. And if I can help you solve the problems with these cars, can you send me customers? You got nothing to lose.
So you went from making deals with car dealerships to running literally a multi-million-dollar business, one of the largest paint correction and paint protection companies, not in the United States, not just in Vegas, but in the United States.
Yeah, and we're probably top 10 or 15 in the world.
I freaking love that. Okay, I'm going to make a little transition here, because one of the things that we promised those of you that are watching is that we would give you 3 things. That's what the ad said. 3 things that would help you either launch into a new business, scale your own business. There was 3 things we want to talk about. Rich, I'm going to ask you directly about these 3 things. Maybe you can give some insight.
Let's write up the 3 things so they can actually map this, because they're taking notes right now and we want to be able to retain this.
So number 1, okay, that we want to share with you is to acquire new customers. I mean, it's safe to say if you can't get new customers, you're not going to grow a business. So Rich, what did you learn over the last 30 years that you think you could share with people that would give them an idea that
That's actually a really simple answer.
Okay.
And people really need to listen to this today, because with social media, it's got good and bad. Let me tell you why. Social media keeps your attention on a lot of opportunities and different things you can do in just in the car space, right?
Okay.
But the problem with that is, and this is how I did my hustle, if we go back to day one, I was about building relationships and adding value. We're not out there networking with enough people or shaking enough hands to make money with these people because we're too busy behind our phones. The more you go out to car shows, go out to car dealerships, get to know the service writers, the sales guys, those are relationships. And relationships bring what? Leverage to what? Resources.
Right.
Right? And by resources, you're acquiring new customers because you're offering value and solutions to problems, right? If you solve enough problems with car guys, you get a lot of customers.
Absolutely. I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit, and I'm gonna ask a tough question. I'm really gonna put Rich on the spot here because I know a little bit of his business behind the scenes, so I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Sure.
Because acquiring new customers, I want people to really know what it's like behind the scenes. So just to give you an idea, at any given week here at Glossit, we will get either between 100 and 150 of people a week that contact us, raise their hand and say, will you work on my car? No joke, about 100 to 150 people a week will contact us and ask us to work on their car here in the local Vegas market. Rich, how many of those people come to you through some type of social media or digital presence?
100%.
Really,
100%.
it's that important?
Yeah, so let's talk about acquired customers, right? So if you look at social media, there are three things, and you can write these down for them.
Okay.
There are three things you guys need to focus on. This is really important, how I get customers, is when you put up a post and you're sharing something, a result of what you do inside your business, right? And you're doing correction, right, or coding. The best way to do this is solve a problem, right? If you're not solving a problem, they're not interested in watching your content. So your messaging has to be really, really important. And that's what I call educational, which would be number 2, right? So you need the education of what you're doing inside. So if you guys watch my social media, I'm gonna tell you this because this is on my training platform, which we'll talk about later. Likes don't equal cash. A lot of people think just because somebody doesn't comment or hit a heart button that they didn't watch your ad. That is so untrue, and we have analytics inside our company that we can actually see how many people actually watched it without knowing likes or comments. So guys, remember, don't worry about perfect content, worry about consistent content, even if it's not perfect. And we test it, ready, Ryan? We test real ads professionally edited versus just me and an iPhone walking around the car. And the iPhone converted more qualified people wanting codings, corrections, and PPF, like by far. In fact, we have one that we documented, which was a Chevy lifted pickup out in front of the office. I walked outside with my camera, I walked around, this is real, with my iPhone, and we did a correction and coding. We tracked it through our analytics. It brought in $562,000, this organic phone ad that we ran in 6 months.
You know what's interesting is one of the first things that Rich had to master to scale his business was acquiring new clients. You heard me just ask him, out of 100 to 150 people a week that come in and ask for business, ask us to work on their cars, 100% of them come from digital. And do you see the three things he listed here? Not one of them have to do with price, not one of them have to do with money, not one of them have to do with asking for the business. He is serving the public before he asks for their business, okay? If you're a shop owner or if you're taking notes here, I wrote it down. I just really encourage you to write this down because this is a huge aspect of growing your business. Rich, let's jump on to number 2, okay? Number 2, deliver first-class service. If you ever wondered if this was live, just like how bad my penmanship is. Rich, deliver first-class service. What did you learn about that and how to help you grow your business?
Here's the thing, the cheapest marketing or advertising is referrals.
Oh yeah.
Right? And a lot of guys don't know how to capitalize on referrals. And here at our headquarters in our classes, we actually have training in person so people can watch the sales process. And one of the biggest things is when you give an experience to a customer, I'm going to use a simple analogy. I live in Vegas, world capital of the best food in the world. What does that have to do with cars? Nothing.
Okay.
But the experience does.
Yeah.
Why do people come to Vegas?
Experience.
Right? And this is the experience capital of the world, right? The people travel from every country, every continent. But let me explain this, and this is my analogy, and I hope you guys write this down. If I want to go have a steak dinner, I have a couple choices. I can go have a steak dinner at Outback Steakhouse, and I can get a steak and a salad and a potato for, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks. Let's call a number, right?
Okay.
Or I really like steak. I can go to Delmonico's, which is a steakhouse inside the Venetian, right? And I'm going to spend $300, $400. Are they both steak?
Absolutely.
Are they both food? We both eat them, right?
Absolutely.
Right? But why do we pay $300, $400?
Totally different experience.
Than $30, $40 at
Yeah.
Outback, right? Because they're two different experiences.
I mean, people come here by the hundreds. You've serviced thousands of people.
Tens of thousands.
Which are you? Are you Outback or are you the Venetian?
I always tell people, do you want to be the Ruth Chris or you want to be Outback? So what he's getting around is, guys, is that when a customer comes into your facility, you got one time to impress them. You got one time to show them why you're the expert. Write this down. What you do and how you're different and how you're going to help protect their car to get it done, right? That's execution.
Rich, I mean, this isn't just talk, because I know for a fact that you get good reviews. I mean, how many 5-star reviews do you have online right now because of your exceptional service?
Well, there's a system that I put in place, which we're going to talk about inside this webinar today. Systems are what make this work. And I break it down and I've documented it and I share all these assets with all my students, right? One thing we want to do is, like, how hard is it to offer somebody a bottle of water when they walk in your studio?
Easy.
It makes them feel what?
Special.
And
welcomed.
And a lot of guys aren't taking these little simple steps to make people feel good, right? Because you're basically asking them to invest money with you and they don't know if they can trust you, right? And that's a big problem. So part of the experience is, how do I impress them and how do I get them to trust me? That should be number 3.
So I agree. When I come in here and I see you working, and I see you work with clients all the time, and you're walking them around and you're introducing them to staff and you're showing them cars, and like, is that all part of the experience?
That's part of the experience, because here's the thing, you want to be transparent with your customers, right? You always want to have other customers' cars. So, like, actually where we're filming right now is an area that we always keep open, because we like to pull the car in the shop and be transparent with our work environment so customers can see the action going on. And then they're looking at their car, then they're looking at the cars the guys are working on, and in their head there's like, God, this is what I want my car to look like. This is where I want to be.
Rich, I got to stop, because, and this is a side note, this isn't in my notes, but I'm thinking out loud. A lot of people call and say, can you just give me a quote? And I remember you saying to me one time, like, I don't want to give them a quote over the phone because they won't have the experience. Is that by design?
It kind of, sort of, but not 100%. Let me explain why. A lot of people are shopping and thinking there's a one price for everything. It's our job to educate them on the phone and say, look, there's a lot of different options and I don't want to give you a number and then the number's not correct because I'm quoting you for something that you don't even need.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then that customer respects that because you're being honest. And we train our sales advisors to talk to the customers on the phone and chat. I can give you starting points, but that might change when you show up. I mean, I got a Mercedes right behind you that the customer came in with one idea, and now this has turned into a week's project.
There you go.
And you know what he said to me when he came in today to check on his car? And he wanted to meet me because he seen me on social media. And I was just telling him, I'm like, how did you come up with this idea for the car? And he said, hey, I want to tell you something. How your staff treats me made the world a difference. It made me feel like you care.
There you go.
Everybody I called around just gave me a number without an expectation. And I didn't know what I was getting. They just gave me a number, and I was really confused because they didn't want to be the expert. And they let me be the expert, and I'm not an expert in doing that. That's why I brought it to somebody like you. So guys, it's really important as part of this service, the first class experience, be the expert when you talk to clients. Give them the best advice by asking them the right questions about what makes sense for their car. Yeah. Everybody's different.
Absolutely. Rich, let's jump on to number 3, okay? Again, remember, these are the 3 things that are to help you build or scale your business in the right way. Number 3 was to manage the workflow. I think a lot of people, as they're scaling business, they go through chaos before they go through scale, okay? And I've heard you say this a lot of times, but managing the workflow in the shop. I acquire new customers, I'm delivering first-class service, I'm charging a premium. But if you're not managing the workflow, you could blow it all to smithereens. Am I right?
Correct. So guys, it really comes down to systems. Without systems, you can't execute production. A lot of guys think by just selling a lot of work that that's going to make them money. And that's not true. Because if you're not effective and you don't have systems in place, you could spend a lot of money, more than what they're paying to actually execute the job.
Yeah.
And I see this mistake common inside the paint protection, the wrap industry, because you have to remember, sometimes you guys out there are probably some of the best technicians you've ever seen working on cars, but people don't know that. And it's your job to build out a system that shows them so they do understand. And the whole point of this, when I talked to Ryan in December, was, look, I need to help people out there solve problems, just like I help people solve problems on their cars. And because I see this every day inside our studio, and we got a pretty big team now.
I think that's a great transition to our next conversation. At what point during this whole growth and the scaling you went through, I mean, eventually people started coming to you and say, hey, can you teach me what you're doing? Am I right? Like,
Yeah.
At what point did they start asking your advice and giving them the systems and giving them the blueprint?
I think the best advice I think I gave to them was, you gotta ask yourself a question, why does this matter? Right? This is psychology for me, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, not everybody's coachable, Ryan. Not everybody's going to follow your directions or your steps.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah. And this is me being 100% transparent with people watching this.
Give it.
When we hire people here, we have a system in place, system, where they have to go through 90 days of probation with us. Because we're investing money to offer them skill sets to be on our team. We want people that want a career, not a job. And sometimes when we hire people, we do it out of being desperate, right? Because we need people to help us get the cars done. The
Right.
problem is, what I see inside of these businesses like us is that they don't have systems in place, they have no onboarding in place, they have no accountability in place, right? But then they expect the team to execute. And then they get frustrated and they end up right back where they started again, where they get rid of everybody and they go back to themselves.
Yeah.
And they go through this circle, right? But if you get around somebody, like a shop like this, that actually does it consistently, daily and yearly, why would you want to go out and try to figure that out? I mean, you can go on YouTube and watch a million videos, but that doesn't mean you're going to retain it. It's not a training system.
So eventually, with all the success and all the growth and the scaling and everything like that, eventually people started coming, other shop owners and other people came to you and they're like, teach me how to do this. Like,
Yeah.
what? Tell me a little bit of the journey of Glossy University and why you created
I'll
it.
give you an example, right? So we got Sol and his wife. This is a great story, you guys, right? So Sol and his wife, they've been watching our training. This is probably, a year ago, Austin, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Sol and his wife have been to 4 or 5 different training programs.
Like
and-
other people were offering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when Sol and his wife showed up, his wife actually pulled me aside, because he made the decision to do this again, and said, listen, I don't want to be disrespectful, I don't want to be rude, I don't know you, but I'm going to tell you right now, we've already been through 4 of these and none of it works.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of I like the challenge in that, because that told me that the programs out there weren't giving people what they needed to succeed. And I looked at her and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. If this doesn't work after being with me for 2 days and you feel at the end that you didn't get what you want or this is going to help you, I'll just cut your money back, plus I'll cover your airfare and your hotel.
Fair.
Right? And she said, you're joking, right? And I said, no, I'm dead serious. That's how I know. But here's the first thing for me to make that offer. This is conditional. If you don't keep your mind open with an open mindset and really, really apply what I'm going to show you in 2 days, then I'm not going to make the bet. So can you give me your word on that? And she said, you got my word. To give you a background, they've had a shop in Chicago, Rockford, Illinois,
Okay.
for 14 years.
Okay.
And they were stuck at like 100 to 120, 140,000, which you guys would say, wow, that's a lot of money, that's pretty successful. The problem was they were selling price, not value. And so they were doing a lot of work, but they were just not making any money. So after 2 days of training with me, at the end, I interviewed them and I said, hey, if you had to go back knowing that this training was gonna cost whatever X dollars, what would you value this training at, knowing that this would be the training if you knew this right now? It was 4 times what they paid. Almost,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. And just to fast forward you today, they set targets inside their business in Chicago. They adjusted their prices, they retrained their teams, they put the systems in place that I taught them how to do, and they did it consistently. and they blew past their number. In fact, they sent us videos after 2 weeks. She sold and didn't believe me on an existing customer with no ad spend. I said, the worst thing that people can say, we could talk about this, is no, right?
Right.
If you don't put it out, they were getting a window tint and they walked out and she sold them an $8,000 job. And she said she started to cry. She went inside the bathroom, started to cry, and then called me and was crying. And she said, you changed my mindset. You told me that this was possible. You actually showed me when I was training with other customers it was possible. And you said the worst thing they could say is no.
I love that. Rich, one of the things we're going to transition to here is Glossy University. Like, why did you create Glossy University?
Glossy University was created, this is a full training system with accountability in it. And I wanted to be able to scale my own shops, and I wanted to be able to put systems in place, because doing it one-on-one like this every day takes a lot of bandwidth, right?
Right, for sure.
But what if I created a system of training that I could have my whole team of employees watch and then be trained every single day for 15 or 20 minutes? That's it. And guess what? Sol and his wife, they use this with their team.
Is that right?
Yeah. And they said this was a big difference, because this will not just go over doing the work portion, but the systems we put in place is, well, how do I create a Facebook account? How do I create an ad that actually converts to leads? How to set up a CRM, which is like where the leads come through.
Hold on.
I mean, there's just a lot inside here.
You went through all of your systems that you use in your existing shop, and you delivered inside of Glossy University.
Yeah.
So everybody can duplicate it.
I believe there's 13 or 14 modules, right, Austin? Yeah. And there's about 150 or 40 videos.
You literally give people the keys of the kingdom on how to build a successful business.
I call this business in a box, right?
Okay.
It's a blueprint, right? And it's my blueprint. It's the blueprint I still use today as we talk.
So tell me, like, I mean, we're seeing it here, but give me an idea of what it looks like. Like, there's Zoom videos, you got 2 days in the shop.
Well, when you log in, there's interactive training, which means if you guys have no experience in selling, it's me on camera. I'll give you an example. You'll see me on the video on the training system, and it's really good training because Sol's wife watched it every day and night. And this is what she said helped sell her that $8,000 job. But inside is like, I need to talk to my wife. I need to get more information. It was more than I wanted to spend. You know, all the common objections, which you guys own a shop out there know about, I put it in this training system so that you could train other people to do the same thing that you're doing, so that you can actually expand and delegate and have people do things. So this system will train anybody in any department of your company.
Rich, again, I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't need an exact number, but if you had to just in your brain crunch a number, how much do you think you spent in the life of your business just trying to create these kind of systems, test them, see if they work, and get them to a place where you're at a level of mastery with them? How much do you think you spent to build all this?
Millions.
Millions.
Yeah, I don't even know the exact number, but I know it's in the millions. It's
Yeah,
in the millions. But it's not even the money I spent, it's the time I invested to create this. So you got the time, the money you spent to do it, but then the time to actually perfect this and we're still improving it. Like, we're still uploading new content because we're seeing how the economy changes and how people's attitude and how customers' buying behavior changes. And so we're like, man, we got to readjust, so we got to pivot, right?
Yeah.
And so inside the system, I've created how to use a 90-day program to set up targets within inside your business so that you can actually hit those targets. They're not just a wish or a hope. It's actually going to happen.
I love that. Hey, Austin, do you mind if we turn this over real quick? I don't know if you guys have seen me or not, but let me explain something really quick about Glossy University and where the real value is in here for you that are watching this. Here in a minute, we're going to give you a chance to hear a little bit more from Rich, give you a chance to do some Q&A, but let me just explain something about Glossy University. If you look at the traditional university education model, Glossit has done something really extraordinary. On one end of the spectrum of education, you're going to see 100% theory. You need to learn the details. You need to go through the modules and just absolutely learn it. On the other end of the spectrum is what we call application. It's where you go to a Harley school and they put an engine on the table and say, take it apart. There's application and there's theory. Glossy University has combined those two and done a healthy blend of both to where you're going to learn the details and the systems that Rich has designed over 30 years of business in this industry. You're also going to come into the shop for 2 days here in Las Vegas, the land of experience, right? You're going to come into the shop. You're going to be with Rich, with his staff, with his trained team on live cars, just like the ones you see here. Now, these ones won't be here because they'll be delivered to customers, but there'll be more here. You get to come in live, hands-on training in the shop for 2 days here in Vegas and have access to all the curriculum inside the university. The third pillar of this is that you're going to have all the support you need to grow your business. Now, I'm going to get back to Rich in a minute, but I'm going to make a special invitation to every one of you right now. I'm going to do this a couple of times before we wrap up here in a little bit, but if anything we've said resonates with you, if you're looking at this going, did I really just find the holy grail of education systems that can give me hands-on experience to grow my business? What I want you to do is I want you to click on the link. Austin's going to post a link in the chat box, okay? Keep an eye out for that. He's going to post a link there, and if you click on that link, it's going to give you a chance to book an appointment. This is a free appointment to you. Now, it's not free to us, but it's free to you, no obligation. We want you to click on the link and book an appointment just to simply come and talk to a member of our team, okay? When you book that appointment, myself or somebody else in our team are going to talk to you and go through and find out where your bottlenecks are, find out where your goals and aspirations are, and give you the blueprint of whether or not working with Glossy University is a good fit for you, okay? So Austin's going to post that there. We're going to keep moving on, but if you get a chance and you want to learn more, click on that link, and you're going to come in and be able to ask all the questions you want. We'll do it on the phone or we'll do it on Zoom. Either way, we'd love to chat with you. Okay, Rich.
Yeah.
We're going to open up to Q&A here in a little bit, but before we do that, dude, I've been around you long enough. I know inside of you, you got all these like, oh, I want to tell them this and I want to tell them this. If you had to take all of this and distill it down, I'm going to start the Q&A with a couple of my own questions. Like, who is this for, and what do you think it would do for them to participate in Glossy University?
Well, that's going to be different for everybody, right? Because my grandfather told me everybody's got a different paradise.
Okay.
And your paradise is different, my paradise. Doesn't make it right or wrong, guys. But I think one of the things that I want to show you guys that's really important for you to decide what's right for you in life. And this applies to everything in life, right? So we're going to go here. Now, guys, I want you to write this down because this is really important. If you decide to jump on a call with Ryan and our team who can help walk you through to see if our training is a good fit, I want you guys to write this down. This is going to really help you with all aspects of your life, not just working with Glossy.
Let's go.
All right. So we got three things. Number one is we have mindset. Okay. So let's talk about mindset real quick. Mindset is the way, the perspective, the lens in which you guys look through at your current reality, what your life is right now, good, bad, or ugly, right? Right now, you're hanging around people, maybe you're hanging around good people or bad people, but the people that you're hanging around are giving you bad advice. So ask yourself this question, and this is really important, guys. Are these people helping you get where you want to be? Are the conversations that you're having with them, their mindset, helping you put you in the right direction?
Good question.
Right? Because if they're not, unfortunately, as you grow and you become successful, your friends will change. Because then they'll say, oh, you're too good for me. You think that, just because you're successful now in your ceramic coating business, you're better than me, you have no time for me. It's like, no, bro, it's not about that. I invested in myself and put myself around other people. That's why I have a community that we all think the same. We're all here to help each other. We all have the same mindset.
I love that.
Okay? Number two, skill sets, guys. Write this down. Skill sets. Skill sets are the ability to execute, whether it's paint protection film, ceramic coating, correction, window tint, paintless dent removal. You got to have the skill sets. You got to get around other people in the industry, in our community. Are people that are successful, they want to give back. And if you're inside my community, the skill sets that we teach inside the boot camp here for 2 days in this facility, not a classroom, and we got a new classroom in 2026 being built, and we'll share that with you guys in the future. I signed the paperwork tomorrow at the bank, and I've been planning this for 3 years. I'm excited, and Ryan's already seen the space.
It's awesome.
Right, and it's going to be a dedicated training center, a performance center. But the skill sets that you need to write down, what do I want to learn first? Now, I'm going to give you guys a recommendation. If I'm trying to create cash flow and I want to be successful, I'm doing mobile detailing, right? And I'm washing cars, but I'm only getting $100, $200 a car. Every single one of those customers is a potential customer for coating and correction. Now, you can get the skill sets by coming to a live boot camp here in Vegas for 2 days. You can learn how to do correction and coating and be somewhat proficient, not a master, but somewhat proficient. Where with PPF, you go to a class, we teach it, and we'll have those coming up too. It takes you 6 months to a year, and tens of thousands of dollars in wasted material to become good.
Got it.
So what I recommend with the skill sets is you get into coding and correction first, and you start to create cash flow. You can reinvest into other services.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Totally makes sense.
Now, number 3, this is really important, guys. Habits. The habits that we create on a daily basis determine our success. What does that mean? Everything I look at in 90 days, right? And I always work from 90 days backwards, and this is on my training system. And the students that actually apply the mindset, the skill sets, and the habits have a better probability of executing these because they're consistent every day showing up. Habits are consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Habits are really important, guys. I really want you guys to write this down. Mindset, skill sets, habits, right? Hey, Rich, what happens if I have skill sets and habits already, but I don't have the mindset? Well, skill sets and habits aren't going to work. So what's the most important number one thing we got to fix right now?
Mindset.
Mindset. Because if we don't have the right, this is number one, guys. If we don't have the right mindset, skill sets and habits don't matter. Because we're not looking through the right perspective. Right? Skill sets are doing the work on the cars every day and becoming really good at it and being the expert. And habits mean what? Consistency of showing up. And guys, there's a lot of days I don't want to show up. Trust me. Inside your business, you need really good habits and consistency to make this work.
Okay. Hey, everybody that's watching, I just want to throw this out there really quick. We're going to continue with Rich, but just want to throw this real quick. We're going to open this up to Q&A in about 2 or 3 minutes. Go ahead and start dropping your questions in the chat box. We'll have Austin kind of share them with us. But drop your question in the chat box. We've got Rich here, literally the master. Okay. If you got questions, put them in the chat box. We'll have Austin share them with you. I'm going to ask Rich one more question, and then we're going to jump over to your questions. Okay. Rich, this one's going to ruffle some feathers.
Good.
Okay. This one's going to challenge some people that are watching. But as long as I've known you, you've always been a straight shooter, a direct guy. You just say it how it is. It's one of the things I like most about you. In fact, I tell your staff, don't worry about Rich Says, because it's probably true. Okay. We get to talk to a lot of people about Glossy University. Mm-hmm. We're talking on the phone all day long. They called. Everybody wants $50,000 a month dreams, and they have paper plate budgets. I don't know what that's called, but what do you think is the number one reason that stands between people participating and not participating, like in Glossy University? What do you think it is?
I think it comes down to belief. You know, what you believe is what you achieve. I know it sounds corny, but it's totally true, right? You have to make the decision, this is what I want, and this is why I want it. And if you don't know why you want it, you're not coachable.
What is how does their belief influence how they purchase things?
Well, because think about it. I mean, it's a bad analogy, but car guys hang around car guys.
Right.
Fast food guys hang around fast food guys.
Okay.
Billionaires hang around billionaires. Millionaires hang around millionaires. So my biggest question when people look at this opportunity is like, where are you going? Because where you were doesn't matter. Where you want to be is the most important thing.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have that certainty. And so when we have this free call, which you know more about this than I do sometimes, and that's why Ryan's here, he's got the expertise to help people get results. I mean, $1 billion worth of business in 4 years.
Did all right.
Right? Guys, that's a crazy amount of money and build sales teams out. And how many people were on the sales team?
Just around 300.
300 people did $1 billion. Now you guys are going to understand, sometimes I'm not an expert in everything I'm doing here, but what I am good at is finding people that are. Right?
Yep.
And you guys out there need to get around more people that have the skill sets, right? And the knowledge, because that's what I do. And I go back to the beginning of the conversation, relationships.
Yeah.
See, I knew that I lacked marketing, but I knew I didn't lack sales, but I knew I lacked marketing. And you have to ask yourself a question, what's more important, marketing or sales?
Well, you got to get them in the door first.
Marketing.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's sales, it's marketing, right? And so for me, I invested in boot camps and masterminds. I was with Grant Cardone and before COVID, and I got in a room with some of the most powerful, successful people. And to get that proximity, this is really important, I had to spend $20,000 to be in that room.
Yeah.
And I was a little afraid. I was a little scared. I was like, man, am I just blowing 20 grand just to get around a bunch of people talking? But you know what I learned in that weekend? And it's changed the whole course of my business.
What's that?
I got around people that had resources and knowledge that I didn't have. And what I realized I wasn't paying $20,000 to listen to the guy up on the stage. I was paying $20,000 to have proximity in the people in that room that were super successful.
It makes me think about the university, about how they come those 2-day boot camps and they're around other people trying to build businesses just like them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super valuable.
And so people say, why do you spend this kind of money? Why do you invest this kind of money? Because number one is I'm investing in myself. It's not about just my business. I'm investing in myself because I lack certain things that were holding me back from getting where I want to go.
I love that. I'm going to turn it over to you guys' questions here in just a minute, but I just want to hit on this number one right here, this mindset. I want to give you an example of mindset. We have a chance to talk to people every day that want to participate in Glossy University, and I saw this is not a thinly veiled introduction to Glossy University. This is a 100% in-your-face introduction to Glossy University, because we're just so proud of scaling that side of the education portion of the company. But when it comes to mindset, I just want to get everybody in a little bit of alignment. Okay, if I asked you right now to write down on your notes, write down on a piece of paper, what is your goal? What do you want to make? What impact do you want to have, and how much money do you actually want to make? If I asked you to write that down on a piece of paper, is it big? If you multiplied it by 12 months in a year, is it really big? Does it scare you a little bit? Does it allow you to accomplish the dreams and be around the people you want to be around? I hope that number is big. Is it 100,000? Is it 200,000? Is it $1 million? Whatever that number is, one thing when it comes to mindset that I'm going to challenge you on is make sure that what you're willing to do for that number is in alignment for what it is. Okay? If I said, I can teach you all these things and the value is 1-to-1, that's not a big enough value. It's got to be big. Okay? If you want to make a lot of money doing this, or if you just want to own your own business and make your own schedule and do your own thing, I'm going to tell you right now, mindset-wise, you got to have the mindset. You got to be willing to invest in that.
You got to think differently.
Yeah, and I said this to Rich earlier, and Rich goes, no, Ryan, it's investing in themselves. That was powerful when you said that. Right. They got to invest in themselves. If you're not willing to invest a couple of $1,000s to live the life of your dreams, running the business that you would love and want to be around with cars, still give us a call, because I want to talk to you about your mindset first before we talk about the university, but ultimately we'll end up talking about the university.